whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on do our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
Hi, I'm attorney Gavin and Richard. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jello, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it could make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn the attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why a trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format. The book is not available this fall. The book is available now on Amazon, ladies and gentlemen. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in the United States. On Kindle as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. I need you all, if you can, to please buy now. It's only $9.99. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby. It is available now on Kindle. Paperback version will be coming soon. And for those that have purchased it, it's good if you could please write a review of it on Amazon and let me know what you think. Let Amazon know what you think, because that, of course, drives the sales up and also increases the visibility of the book, ladies and gentlemen. But we want to thank you all for tuning in. This is the hottest live stream here on YouTube. It is Random Topic Thursdays, only on channel GBoot2786 on Gavin Richard on Periscope.
via Gavin Rich 2786 on Twitter and on my Facebook page, Gavin Richard. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special show for you tonight. We have some special guests that are going to drop by and talk about the couple of situations and some things we're going to talk about, which is the case, obviously, with Bill Cosby versus Judy Huth, where he was found liable for sexually assaulting Miss Becky near almost 50 years ago. We'll be discussing that, and we'll also be discussing the topics I talked about on Tuesday, because although I discussed them, we know that there was an issue with me on live for some reason. Some people couldn't hear me, but if you can hear me, I want you to give me a thumbs up in the chat right now. Leave a thumbs up if you can hear me. I don't think I'm having any audio issues because I'm talking to you on my laptop, and I'm not even in my studio, and I can see the volume on my mic on the avatar right there booming, so that must mean we're doing a great job. But if you can hear me, ladies and gentlemen, get those likes up. Please give me a thumbs up. Danielle said she can hear me. Shout out to you, Danielle. By the way, I should let you know your Narnie's Creole blend is available, is on its way. You should get that sometime this weekend. In the meantime, guys, I need you also to go to NarniesCreoleBlends.com to support the family. Ladies and gentlemen, NarniesCreoleBlends.com. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Narnies goes great with every dish. Narnies is available for online for sale. I'm trying to get the item in stores, but you go right here to NarniesCreoleBlends.com. You can order you some good old-fashioned Creole seasoning to support the business. Ladies and gentlemen, just go here, hit the shopping cart, and just shop right there and purchase some seasoning blends. So I'm blasting that. You got time to get it just before the 4th of July if you celebrate it, but even those that don't celebrate, say they don't celebrate it, I know deep down y'all still go to your family and get some food. You don't not eat on a 4th of July. So I'm sure you all get y'all some grub. Go ahead and do that. Try some Narnies, ladies and gentlemen. Shawn loves it. Shawn tries it on turkey burgers, apparently, as well as Bishop Scott and a few others. The other thing I want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to also support me, you see right here at the bottom in the ticker is the Cash App, Google Pay, PayPal. That's where you can donate to any of those to support a brother. As you know, YouTube has demonetized this channel, so it's important that you do that. Also, go to @ComwellCos. We talked about the book, but I still do updates on the Facebook page @ComwellCos, where we talk about the book. Instagram page for the Cosby book actually is coming soon. But in the meantime, go to the Facebook page to get more updates about it, ladies and gentlemen. And also, we have our songs that we play all the time, including Video Soul, which is on Spotify, Amazon, and Apple. And of course, our theme song, Gotta Get On Up. So before we bring on our guests, we're going to go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, get on up. We're waiting on one of our guests to arrive. So I'm going to just go ahead and get this party started.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll be. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the... Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, There's only one thing left to do, cause the beat is really moving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop. I'll do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe, then you achieve. And so, if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll feel the groove. Get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the floor, baby. Yeah, gotta get on. Come on, baby, gotta get on. Baby, feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. That's a little Earth, Wind, and Fire feel, ladies and gentlemen, of little Philip Bailey. Come with me, and you'll see a land called fantasy, where your life will truly be. You realize you should not have that to be. Ooh, and we'll stay. Come on, Shawn, you'll play. And the sea has in store for you many lives, how dream come true. Recognize that your life will be removed. Shawn is not going to do that because when he takes a critical examination of my voice and of the singing, he says, oh, hell no, I'm going to stick to writing. Now, we're going to take a critical examination of your 3 topics with your Shawn James and another special guest who I'm waiting on. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our friend to the show, Mr. Shawn James. I'm sorry, Shawn. How you doing, Shawn?
I'm all right.
All right. I'm just imitating you a little bit. It's all in fun. Tell us a little bit. First off, we always use this opportunity. Let's bring on, I guess, Shawn James, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a warm welcome. Shawn, I always broadcast Stop Sipping in Cyberspace, but yesterday you did your Kickstarter campaign for John Haynes. So tell us a little bit about that before we get into tonight's topics.
Well, John Haynes at Death's Door is the first comic book that's going to be produced on the SJS Direct imprint, and it is an all-new original story where the man who rules the world, John Haynes, takes on the Greek god of death in an action-packed John Haynes series adventure that is going to be a comic book for the first time. So if you want to pick up a copy of John Haynes at Death's Door, you can put in a pledge at the Kickstarter. and you'll be able to get a paper or a digital copy of John Haynes at Death's Door. Right now, the Kickstarter is over 50% funded, and I want to try to get it to over 100% funded, and I can only do that with all your support. So I'm asking everybody to drop a pledge on the Kickstarter by clicking the link or cutting and pasting the link I just posted in the chat, and that'll help me get this project funded. I really want to get this comic out to everyone. All the art is done, all the lettering is done, and all I need to do is pay for the printing and the shipping, and I'll be able to get the first John Haynes comic to you if you guys come out here and support the Kickstarter in force.
Well, I just want to say I have supported you.
Thank you.
Go to it. I would hope, brother, too, I know you've seen it, but also if you could blast and promote the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., the destruction of due process in the United States, which is available now. I need as many people right now to read it, especially in light of this week's ruling. And I'm waiting for my guest. I'm having a little difficulty trying to hold on a second. It's actually him. Okay, Andrew, how you doing? All right. Okay, Andrew, you got to click on the link inside the video, inside the text message that I sent to you. What's up, Bishop Scott? All right, if y'all want to come, hold on one second. Y'all, excuse me, you got to click on the link that says StreamYard that's in the text message. Yes. Yeah, you got to click on it, and it's going to ask you your name, and then you can come in the studio. So you'll be able to come in like that. All right, you got it?
I'm tapping and join the video chat.
Okay. Y'all okay, well, I don't see you just yet. Look, I'm going to just go ahead. Bishop knows how to do it, but when you click on, okay, I'm about to send you the message again. You got to click in the chat, in the message that I sent. Please, you got to click where it says the StreamYard link. Click on the icon. You see the icon with the duck?
Yeah, I think that. Okay, the arrow. Facebook Live?
It's not Facebook Live. It's StreamYard.
StreamYard, yes, I see it.
Yeah, click on that.
Okay. Where it says, I don't see it. You have to send me that one again.
I just sent it to you. What's your email address?
Okay, okay.
Sorry about that, y'all. I'm trying to, you know how it is with dealing with old people and technology.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to keep this. So I'm waiting for him. We're gonna have attorney Andrew Jones who's gonna stop by. We're gonna be talking about the Bill Cosby case.
where Bill Cosby was found liable for sexually assaulting Judy Huth. Now, I want to show you all, since we're just going to get right into it, Shawn, I want to show you what the variety, I want to show you what they do to us, and look at the title of this. Now, this is written by Elizabeth Wagmeister. Now, I can already tell who she is. I can already tell where she's going to lean to by looking at the way these headlines are screened. But this is what she wrote. Bill Cosby found guilty of sexually abusing minor 16-year-old Judy Huth in 1975. So you see that. That's the title.
Slanted.
Very slanted.
And
now,
it's implying that he committed a criminal act when there was no criminal act.
And that's the point I was going to make. This was a civil matter. And when you're in a civil matter versus a criminal matter, you are it's liability versus it is about liability, not criminality. You are not charged with a crime when you're being sued. What they're saying is you're civilly liable for damages that you caused against a person. And Judy Huth, who is 64, accused Cosby of luring her and a friend to a mansion, the Playboy Mansion, after meeting them in a park. Now, Judy Huth says, I was elated. It's been so many years, so many tears. It's just a long time coming. Bullshit. Now, let me tell you why. She tried multiple times, but previously back in 2005, I believe, to bring this action against Cosby, which still is outside the statute of limitations, if I'm not mistaken, out in California. California did not have, when she filed this lawsuit in 2014, a look-back law. This look-back window is allowing minors, regardless of how long it was, to go back and accuse someone of a crime and file a lawsuit or bring charges against them. And when this suit was filed, California did not have a look-back law. But this is not the AP theory. This is... Good evening, Bishop Scott. Bishop Scott, we sent you the link. If you want to come in the show, you can come in, by the way. Just click on it. So this is slanted when you read this stuff. And all read praising Huth, saying the late United States Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg once said, real change, enduring change happens one step at a time. Today, our client won real change because she fought Bill Cosby one step at a time for over 7.5 years. She proved with the jury's verdict that Mr. Cosby did sexually assault her when she was a minor, and that he should be held and was held accountable for what he did to her. Cosby's team, though, appeared pleased with the outcome. When the verdict was read with no punitive damages found, Cosby spokesperson Andrew Wyatt smiled in the gallery and his lawyers were gleeful as they exited the courtroom. I'm going to read what Wyatt said. Wyatt said, quote, we have always maintained that Judy Huth, Gloria Allred, and their cohorts fabricated these false allegations in order to force Mr. Cosby to finance their racist mission against successful and accomplished black men in America. Mr. Cosby continues to maintain his innocence and will vigorously fight these false accusations so that he can get back to bringing the pursuit of happiness, joy, and laughter to the world. Now, what happened is that the jury found that there was sexual or offensive contact against Cosby. However, they did not, and 9 voters voted that they agreed that Cosby's conduct was motivated by, quote, an unnatural or abnormal sexual interest in a minor. However, they were deadlocked at 8-4 on the award of punitive damages, and they would have gotten or wanted to get over $1 million for every year back when this allegation happened. And keep in mind, your Judy Huth had changed her accusation, her dates multiple times. Her own witness said she remembered it happened in the 80s when they were playing Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong came out in 1981, 1982, not 1975. Right, Shawn?
Yeah.
So she changed this multiple times. But
Be that as it may, let's bring on our expert, Andrew P. Jones. Andrew to the channel. Andrew is present and is going to talk about allegation, what's going on with Dr. Cosby and this trial, this verdict. He's going to explain some things. Andrew, are you there? You got to unmute yourself. Unmute your mic. Andrew. I don't know what happened. Okay. Andrew is back. Andrew. Oh, I got to add you to the screen. Good evening, Andrew.
How you doing, guys?
I'm doing fine. How you feeling?
I'm recovering from this COVID.
Okay, yeah, brother. We'll get well soon. We thank you for coming in to discuss these matters because we're going to talk about this at Deshaun Watson. But if you could, first off, Andrew, what are your thoughts on that title that we just saw where they said Bill Cosby found guilty?
Of course, this is a civil case. He's not guilty of anything. He's just liable for the allegations in the complaint. But it's not same as a civil charge. A criminal charge, not so well. This is
Criminal
total
charge.
civil.
Right. And Tyree asks, where's the damn proof? That's a very good question. That's something I noticed too, Andrew, is that there was no physical evidence in this case, like many of Cosby's, accusers who bring accusations. There's no medical evidence, no rape kit, no toxicology report to see if they had been drugged. Eyewitness accounts have been slanted and scant. And of course, eyewitnesses are not necessarily 100% reliable because no one can verify exactly what happened other than the person making the accusation.
She had a witness. I didn't hear her testimony. The friend.
The Donkey Kong went right. She did.
Yeah, but I didn't.
But she didn't actually say she witnessed her being assaulted by Bill Cosby. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, right. She didn't have an eyewitness. I didn't hear what they claimed that they said that the woman testified to, so I wasn't sure what she her testimony. But the Donkey Kong, I think that's one of the main reasons why she got such a low judgment. The Donkey Kong evidence was quite devastating. You can talk about something happened to you, and yet the event that you allege happened was 6 years later. I mean, that's just devastating. I don't think she ever recovered from that. And the fact that they gave her $500,000, that was a predisposition that those jurors wanted to give her something.
Well, yeah, and I think the jurors wanted to give her something, so they split the baby on it. But according to what even Andrew Wyatt was saying, they said Dr. Cosby was happy about the verdict. However, they still plan to appeal it because he's still listed as liable and he wants to clear his name. But the other thing about it, though, they wanted, when Gloria Allred started this, she wanted $100 million put in the trust fund for all of the accusers.
I remember that boast that she had, that he was supposed to put $100 million. And I tell you, when you put this verdict and her boast in context, that's how badly it came out, because it shows you how ridiculous her this $100 million is. But the case is so poor. It's 40 years old. She supposedly, to be crude, she supposedly just jacked him off. And for that, for 40 years she's been living with. Yet she got married and she has children. She has somewhat of a career, I believe. How is that damage? What real damage happened to you?
Yeah. Then Gloria Allred, the grounds for an appeal too. Gloria Allred, let me just say this. She actually tried to quote an article where
she made a reference to an old interview Bill Cosby did with Oprah when he said, "Well, believe a child when she says someone is fondling her." The jury in Ms. Huth's case demonstrated that they believed her by awarding her $500,000 in compensatory damages. We are very proud of our client's victory and our victory over Bill Cosby. The question that would have triggered punitive damages asked the jurors whether Cosby acted with malice, oppression, or fraud. During deliberations, this became a sticking point for the jury, which had a trouble reaching an agreement over that particular question. In a statement, Cosby's spokesperson claimed that Cosby spoke briefly with two jurors after the verdict. You didn't deserve to be in this court. Both jurors who Cosby reps claimed were in communication with the comedian voted overwhelmingly in his favor on all questions and did not agree with the majority on questions whether regarding this Cosby's conduct to be harmful or offensive. When they wrote this article, this person, you can tell this heifer. I'm not gonna hold back. She's 30. She's obviously, I could tell she's in her late 30s, white probably by that name, is a feminist extremist. And what has feminism done to this country?
Well, the whole Variety newspaper has been virulently anti-Cosby.
The whole media is anti-Cosby.
Yeah, that's true, but Variety is especially virulent. And I wouldn't expect anything better from them than what she wrote there. And you're almost embarrassed for them. They're not practicing journalism. They ignore the law routinely. In his case, you really want to be embarrassed about where the country has been reduced to.
Yeah, and the way we've our justice system, Andrew, has gone from presumption of innocence, burden of proof on the plaintiff beyond clear and convincing evidence, or I believe the preponderance of the evidence, which is a lower burden in a civil case. The civil case is not the same as criminal.
Yeah, 50-50.
But what it is now it's trust and believe.
Yeah, trust and believe. I frankly, Gloria Allred really pushed that nonsense in this case to the highest level. From I even forget, when did it start? About 2010. It started with her.
It really started around 2014, 2015. She filed the suit over 7 years ago.
Cosby's whole problem with this started about
2014.
Yeah, 2014. I thought it was a little earlier than that.
That was 2014 because what they did, they were starting to come out against Woody Allen. And whenever there's a white person that they start to attack and bring up their garbage, they try to bring up the baggage of another black person. So and we talk about this in the book because Tariq Nasheed even tweeted this. They had, right around the time Woody Allen's old allegations were coming up, they started to resurface these old sexual assault allegations against Cosby, which had been settled or at least thrown out because they're so old, they're outside the statute of limitations.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up the issue about this look-back law. The Catholic Church apparently, in some of their cases across the country, has been challenging the law. And I think that whether Cosby can piggyback with them or work in conjunction, this law has to be challenged. That look-back law it's got to go. It's bad for everybody.
Right. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Andrew.
No, I think that this look-back law is outrageous. The statute of limitations is made to protect everybody so that you can put a time frame on when you can bring a case. And then once you don't bring a case, everybody needs to be free of something. So this idea that in this case where a minor can see something that triggers their thoughts and therefore they can just wake up and say, oh, X, Y, and Z happened to me and I want to bring a case, and then you have no evidence. In this case, she had no evidence. She had nothing. She even got the dates wrong I had to change it at the 2 weeks before the trial that she had
Yeah,
the wrong day.
the
I
judge
mean, but
allowed her to change. The judge allowed her to change her dates.
he actually didn't. If my understanding was right, he left the motion open. So that's going to be part of the appeal. He never ruled on this motion.
Well, what I'm saying is that he basically was like still he tipped the hand.
No, he tipped the hand. He allowed the case to proceed, but the
No, he did
motion
more
to
than that. The stuff that I'm seeing, from what I'm reading or from what I was reading, what Andrew stated, the judge was allowing, and for instance, they moved for a mistrial on a couple of things because of an instructions he made to the jury, I believe, over the claim about the sexual assault. Supposedly, also there are jurors who said, "I have daughters," and
yeah.
decided, yeah. So I mean, it still looked like the hand was tipped, but he also allowed Gloria Allred to make a speech during deliberations in the courtroom about Juneteenth.
Yeah, I actually didn't understand it because she had a leader. They had a lead attorney, and usually when you have a leader attorney, it's only they get to speak in a court. The other supporting attorneys, they don't get to just jump and talk. Only lead attorney can talk. So to let her just ipso facto give a speech, that was, to me, it was trying to persuade a black juror to rule in our favor because I support Juneteenth. That's how it came off to me. Other than that, I don't know what was our point of saying it in open court in front of the jury.
Yeah, well, this is what Andrew had to say. And I want to also, this is all about money too. And I'm going to put this, and I want to know if you know who this law firm is. The Merson Law Firm. First, let me just show you this right quick. The Merson Law Firm, which is out in New York, they actually have this posted. Shawn, I don't know if you've advertisements for this. You guys are both out in New York. Look at this.
That's horrible.
You see this?
Yeah, I saw the post on Facebook. I've heard of this firm, but New York is filled with a lot of firms that like this. Um, and I don't know them personally, and I don't never heard of them, but I have seen their advertisements at various times.
Right.
Um,
And I got to say this. I'm seriously hoping I may consider it. Somebody writes a bar complaint against this lawyer because Bill Cosby, he has not been, it's wrong to say sex abuse victims and he has the list. And look at this. He has the list of all of the women that made the allegations. We got to keep in mind some of these women have had they've had their cases tossed out.
well, not only that, you have some of them who can't say that. Right now, Janice Dixon said, I just saw her name. She apparently she settled. She can't even talk now.
With the insurance company, right?
Yeah, and she can't even talk. So by even putting her name up, you're probably giving her problems with her because she's got a non-disclosure agreement. So so I don't even know why he's putting her name up. And I suspect just like
Well,
this
you
Huth
got
woman,
PJ Maston, who's a
yeah,
known who accused Marv Albert of sexual assault and was called a lie. He's got Janice Baker Kinney, who
and by the way, they have these people that is rape, and when many of them are not even raped, they're just like Huth, where there was some hanky panky. That's the best way to put it. It's not rape.
right, Shawn Brown, she's been exposed for lying. Shawn Brown is the mother of Autumn Jackson, who tried to extort Bill Cosby. He doesn't mention that here. We talk about all of this in the book, guys. This is deplorable.
No, it is. It really
And
is.
Bill Cosby has not, and it's important to say, is it wrong? It is wrong, or you think it is wrong as a lawyer, Andrew, for people to call him a rapist or a child abuser because he hasn't been convicted of that?
I think he has a defamation claim against this guy because he has the only conviction that he had, as you know, has been vacated, and he's been totally exonerated. So I don't believe that he can legally call this man. He actually didn't say rapist. He
It's,
call him rape victims.
he called Cosby
He
sex abuse victims.
no. Just can you put back the advertisement if you don't mind?
Yeah, it says Bill Cosby sex abuse victims. This is it here.
I really don't think he can say that. He has not been convicted of any of that. The ones who settled recently, they have non-disclosure agreements. How do we know they got anything, you know? And as you know, with um, when you have insurance companies involved, the client does not give their consent. The defendant doesn't give a consent. They just settle, and it is agreed that it even says that that you don't agree that he hasn't been convicted of anything. We just agree to settle.
Well, this
That's what.
right. Well, this answers something for us. Thank you, Tyree. Merson is representing uh, Lily Bernard.
Yeah, he is Louis Bernard. Yeah, he's bringing
So
a
that's
case in
where
New
this is
Jersey.
coming from.
Yeah, he's bringing a case in New Jersey. I think New Jersey had just changed the law, which again the Catholic Church is challenging it there. Um,
Right.
they apparently lost at the appellate level, and I think they're trying to send it to the Supreme Court. I think that's that's what's happening there, and I don't blame them. I mean, the statute of limitations is a statute of limitation, and people should not be able to just today, 40, 50 years later, say, "Oh, if you just wake up and feels this way, you could go back and sue me." You know,
Mm-hmm.
and as it is in New York, the law is that if you're a minor, before New York has not extended the law yet. I actually they did it
It's
for the Catholic
actually
Church.
it's actually before the governor now. They said they got a look back law. I saw that
Yeah,
passed.
I actually they changed the law with under Cuomo for the Catholic Church, but prior to that, you had 2 years. If you were a minor and you didn't bring an action, you had 2 years, up to 2 years, to bring a lawsuit. If you were a minor when it happened, um, so you did have some time. But this 30, 40, 50 years going back and suing somebody, and even having in some cases they have temporary windows where they're giving them a year or two to bring a lawsuit. It's still got to be challenged, you know. And right now it's Cosby and he's unpopular, but someday it could be somebody else who's just in a jam, you know. And
Yeah,
you get caught up in with this problem. Excuse me.
right. You get caught up in this problem. Shawn, do you have something to comment on this?
Well, when I read that article, it was just disturbing to see the slant that was put on it. They basically acted like Bill Cosby had committed some sort of crime when it was basically a civil trial that was meant to say that he was liable for a situation that I really don't believe he was liable for. And it looks like to me that they were looking to try to railroad Mr. Cosby, and they're trying to paint him as a criminal, but he has committed no crime whatsoever. And that's what's the most disgusting thing about this whole situation is how they keep trying to demonize Bill Cosby, keep trying to make it like he's a criminal, but he's never been convicted of any crime at this point. And they keep trying to tarnish his name and reputation with these stories, as I see it, because this is basically another female who's looking to revise history. And I find it interesting that this woman never once wanted to sue the Playboy organization, because
Right.
you would think that she would want to sue the Playboy organization, but that would mean that if they were to come into the case, they would come in with their records, they would come in with their video, and they would practically destroy this woman's story and credibility. Now, the Playboy organization,
Actually, can I address that, Shawn?
yeah,
The mere fact that the fact that they didn't sue Playboy is a big issue. I've been discussing that with Gavin and on Facebook for a while. But the Playboy records actually did come in because Cosby can subpoena them, and he apparently did, and they worked with him and disclosed a lot of information to help in this case. But you do normally, as a plaintiff, whenever you sue somebody on a what we call in this case is be a premises liability case, because it happens on a premises where this allegation with Ms. Huth happened, and you sue everybody. You not only sue Cosby, you would sue Playboy, you sue the security if there's any outside security, you sue them, you
Right.
sue any and everybody that you can get your hand on. The fact that they focused in on Cosby is a dead giveaway. That this had nothing to do with her harm other than to get Cosby.
You would have made more money if you had gone after Bill Cosby than if you had gone after the Playboy Mansion.
Well,
That
you
Bill
don't
Cosby.
make more money. You
Well,
open the pot open, and the potential for more money
right. I
is
should say
there.
you. What I should say that you there's a likelihood you would get more damages. A
You open the
substantial
pot.
likelihood. Right.
Yeah,
That's what.
you open the pot, and then what really that causes is you hope for the parties to cross claim against each other, and it helps prove your case,
Right.
especially when they
And she
cross.
and Gloria Allred never mentioned why she didn't. She was supposed to, but never mentioned why Hugh Hefner and the Playboy Mansion or the estate of Hugh Hefner was never sued, because it's just like what happened with Penn State. You know, when that Jerry Sandusky situation, they had to settle with those children because he got convicted in court, but also the fact that the Penn State employers, Jerry Sandusky's uh, people
Excuse me.
that ran Penn State, like Joe Paterno ran that football team, and as well as the I can't think of the names of the other ones, but some of the other off men who were running it, the athletic
The president, the
Curly,
athletic director.
right, the athletic director, the president, they actually got charged with perjury in one of their cases, and I think they were convicted or they pled, and yeah, so they had to settle with them. Same thing they're doing even in the Larry Nasser case. They're doing all these cases. What this was like you sued the operator of Magic, the operator who was running the Magic Kingdom ride, and you fall off the ride. Your loved one falls off the ride and dies. You sue them, but you don't sue Disney,
Exactly.
which didn't make
Exactly.
any sense. When Disney got hit with that trade with the copyright strike over that song that's in The Lion King, the attorney, that song was written by a South African, and he actually wanted to. The family wanted because that song was also in Coming to America. It was a hit song, In the Jungle, the Mighty Jungle. They sued Disney because the lawyer said that's where the pot is. That's
Exactly.
what they said. So the fact that they didn't sue Playboy Mansion, they didn't mention Hugh Hefner, tells you what this is about. That this clearly was about race. This was about attacking his legacy. What's left of it is similar, as Shawn said. It's like what they did with the O.J. Simpson verdict. When O.J. was acquitted, they were upset. They decided to get a victory by doing this civil trial against him, where they went after his money. They took $30 million plus, although they didn't really get it because he left the country, left the
Well,
state, went to Florida.
OJ's case, his civil case, should have been dismissed on summary judgment, because once you get it, he had he won, as you know, in the criminal trial completely. So the civil trial should never have been able to go forward, because what evidence could they bring in that proved the case
That
that
was how White and I say so.
exactly. But in normal case, if you won a criminal trial and then somebody tried to sue you civilly, all you do is walk in there with your proof that you were exonerated at the criminal trial at the jury, give it to file a motion for summary judgment, and the case gets thrown out, because the judge is like, well, what can I do? How can you prove the case? The man's been proven innocent already. You can't hold him liable, but he was already proven guilty, innocent. That don't make no sense. But of
Well,
course, with OJ, they threw out the rule book.
yeah. And let me play this. This is what I was talking about with Andrew saying right quick, and then I'm gonna move to Deshaun Watson.
This is a shame. This is a
The jurors, they didn't answer question 8. They're supposed to answer all the questions to 9. They come to the judge. The judge tried to wear them down, to stress them out, to make them come up with a verdict. We have to be out of here by 4 o'clock. The sheriff kept telling him we got to be out here by 4 o'clock. He kept extending it almost to 5 o'clock. The sheriff said, no, we got to get you guys out of here. He was about to take the verdict, and they had not answered all the questions. And now he's going to have to put an alternate in, and they're going to have to start over on Monday. And it's all rigged, everybody. This is ridiculous. That's what I'm saying, black people, black America. What they're doing to us, they're saying this is not ours, Constitution. They're saying they control the courts. They can treat us any way they want to treat us. They could make rulings. How do you take a verdict when they haven't finished with the verdict sheet? How do you do that? You know how you do that? Become black in America, and it can happen to you. Thank you.
That's one of the things that that Andrew talked about. He also did a 10-minute interview with Law and Order. And let me say this: outside the trial, outside the courtroom, you had these heifers. One heifer in particular that kept interrupting Andrew. I watched the whole thing, and Variety was talking about it, about how they stormed out. They stormed out because if you're trying to do a press conference, one person, you got someone talking consistently, yelling at you while you're trying to talk, is just rude.
I think the adjective was incorrect. They did not storm out. They declined to go forward based on the interruption of the all-red team. Say that they stormed out is say like they stomped out. They didn't do that at all. That was an exaggeration of the what really happened.
It was an exaggeration, but yeah, and even the Inside Edition reporter came up to Andrew Wyatt. Andrew, I'm glad he has he should have had his IG stuff when this whole thing started, I think, to counteract a lot of stuff that was going on. But they were recording it, and the man from Inside Edition even came over and agreed that it was unprofessional how that press conference was handled, because Andrew was upset at Gloria Allred because of what she was saying with the Juneteenth thing, which is another reason why I think that ought to be brought up in his appeal. That is for her to speak, and she's not even the lawyer, to speak in the courtroom.
I was really surprised that she was allowed
was
to
unacceptable.
I was really surprised that she was speaking when she has the lead counsel on the case. She might have been
try no cases, Andrew. She doesn't. Gloria Allred doesn't try a case. I don't think she's familiar even with motion practice. What she does is she goes on television. She hypes up the cases. She goes and talks about what they need to do, what we're going to do, and get these women to cry a little bit so that they can get sympathy from the American public. But a lot of people see what she's doing. She's part of that cabal that likes to go after black men. I just put the article up from Stacey Brown, and where he talks about how he titles it correctly. He says this: controversial white attorney. I wouldn't call her a controversial white attorney. I call her a bloodsucker, because she's a bloodsucker. She's not an ambulance chaser. She's a bloodsucker. This is what she does. Because look, she went after Bill Cosby. She also went after Tiger Woods. She went after OJ. She went after Michael. She tried
Michael Jackson with his kids.
Right. She tried to get the kids removed from his house. She went after Mike Tyson. She went after Charles Barkley. And say what y'all want about Charles Barkley, but Charles Barkley even got fed up with her and told her she should shut the hell up.
Given the names that you just rattled off about that she's gone after, I can't even think of a single white man that she went after.
No, you can't. She hasn't.
I don't know if she has it, but I can't think of one.
She didn't go. Her daughter represented Harvey Weinstein for a time.
Yeah, I remember that. That was an outrage given their history. But she was gonna get $900 an hour. That's why she was doing it.
Now Stacey Brown goes after the Me Too movement in this. And remember, Huth originally claimed Cosby assaulted her in 1974 while filming Uptown Saturday Night, but she changed it and said that it was on the set of Let's Do It Again. So she couldn't get her story right, and what they used was this picture. I took a picture with Tiffany Haddish when Tiffany Haddish came to the Hi Ho Lounge back in February, and I was doing an open mic, and she actually performed and shut the place down and took a picture with her. She was real nice. So by me taking this picture, that's the article, Stacey Brown's article, by the way. Y'all should read that. But by me taking this picture, let me go back. Let me show y'all the picture. I guess I could say 20 years ago, 20 years ago, when I took this picture, when I took this photograph, I could say Tiffany Haddish was feeling on my butt.
Exactly. But I want to say one thing. 1975, you have to understand how pictures were taken in 1975. They, as you know, they were processed by a film processor, unless they were a Polaroid, which is the only instant photograph, and they're not date stamped. You know, even if it was the picture is stamped on the back, I think it was in the 80s they started putting dates in the back, but many years in the 70s, you did not have any date stamp on the photograph. So that doesn't mean they were taken when they say they were taken. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. You have no proof of when that date was.
Exactly.
I mean, even if someone wrote it, I guess you could go off of that, but that's questionable. Yeah.
Courts typically would let in photographs like that because there has to be the person who took the photograph
that
to lay a foundation and they authenticate it. And that's how they would get a date in. But they were unlikely even then to be accurate because pictures just weren't date stamped like they are now. You know, you take a digital photograph, they have date stamped, they're geolocated now. If you're on Apple, it's almost crazy because it can tell you exactly where you were when it took it. But in 1975, that's not how photographs are taken in the 70s. You have no way of authenticating when a photograph was taken. Another thing about photographs is people used to take photographs, have the reels sitting in there, a pack of wherever, and forgot that they had these packs of photographs to be processed. And sometimes 6 months, a year, 2 years later, they're getting these pictures photographed. Oh, these are my Hawaii vacation photographs, you know, and they get processed then. But no one really can prove objectively when a photograph was taken. And I particularly was troublesome for me when Dickinson had a photograph of Cosby when he was in a hotel room.
Well, who's to say she took that photograph?
And who's to say she took that photograph?
Because
exactly.
I can tell you, I can't pinpoint it, but I know for a fact I've seen that photograph before. I can't tell you where I saw it. I might have been in Jet or Ebony magazine, but it looks familiar.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
But we'll monitor this story. I'm gonna try and get Andrew to come back on the show. Andrew Wyatt, that is, to come on the show and talk. He and I have been in communication, so he said when everything is cool and relaxed, he'll be able to do so. I think he's flying back home to Alabama now. But let's talk about this.
Hold on, his interview on that Lord show. I saw it on Instagram. It came on my feed, and I was captivated. It was such an excellent video and a summation of how the case was.
Yeah, you're talking about this video here.
Yeah, it was really good.
And Mr. Cosby, I called yesterday. He said, "Booyah."
Andrew, what do you have to say on behalf of Bill Cosby about this verdict?
Look, I've been on the phone with Mrs. Cosby every day, but yesterday we have a favorite saying. I will always give updates on my live Instagram at Andrew V. Wyatt. And after I do my live updates and I'm reporting on what was going on in the courtroom, I always call them, and my favorite saying was "Booyah." And Mr. Cosby, I called yesterday. He said, "Booyah." And he said, "What happened?" I said, "Well, Mr. Cosby, they awarded her $500,000
I said, but they did not get punitive damages. He said, what? I said, yeah, no punitive damages. The $500,000 was a huge victory for us. And the reason why I say that is because they could have given her unlimited damages and punitive damages, and they did not, which told us that, yes, they wanted to punish Mr. Cosby, the jurors. And we found out from juror number 2 and juror number 3, who spoke with Mr. Cosby, that many of the jurors came in with a bias against him. Many of the jurors came in saying, we have daughters, and we just think he should be punished. But they didn't feel that Judith Huth really reached her burden to say that she suffered anxiety, depression, panic attacks, night sweats, nightmares because of Bill Cosby. And she was awarded only $500,000 as Miss Adrian Diggs and Miss Barbette, juror number 2, said, we were going to stay there and fight every day, all day, because we were not going to let her walk away with $1 million. We found out that she has mountain legal bills with Nathan Goldberg and Gloria Allred in the tune of $4 million. Also, they did this on the contingency where they get 33.3%. We will be filing an appeal, Angelina, in 2 weeks in Judge Carlin Court, which she would never get to see a payday. She would never get to see a payday. And if Mr. Cosby, the victory for us is him not having to pay punitive damages. That could have ranged Allred and Nathan Goldberg wanted us to pay their firms between $10 and $15 million. But the jurors, it was an unlimited number. They could have said, hey, pay her $50 million. But that was a victory for us.
So Bill Cosby considers what happened basically a victory, and you said he spoke with jurors already. Is that right?
Spoke with jurors as soon as the jurors were released. He spoke with juror number 2 and juror number 3. And juror number 2 is a white female, and juror number 3 is a black female. And they told him that it was an honor to speak with him. They believed him. They voted no on everything. They voted no on Judith Huth. Did they believe that he forced her to give a hand job? And they just said many of these jurors came in biased, and a lot of them were racist. Those were their words to Mr. Cosby, as well as myself. So it's what we did not want it. We thought we could get jurors who would be fair and impartial, but as we have always said, Mr. Cosby, first off, should have never been there, because when Judith Huth filed this lawsuit in 2014, there was no look-back law in California at the time. Mr. Cosby then was incarcerated, and California put a look-back law into place. Well, he had a permanent stay with this civil suit because of his incarceration. When his incarceration was vacated for in perpetuity by the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court, Wednesday, June 30th of last year, Gloria Allred made a threat and said, I am going to the courts to ask them to remove the stay, which they did in August of last year. And we told her we look forward to our day in court because Mr. Cosby just wanted the facts and truth out there. And he got what he wanted, because in his video deposition, they asked him, did you know Judith Huth? He said no. Did you ever bring minors to the Playboy Mansion? He said no. So that's on record. And I feel that we have a great appellate record. When we file this appeal in 2 weeks, it's going to be beneficial for us, but also Mr. Cosby, because it has some issues to go to the Supreme Court to say that, this look back window prejudice people like Bill Cosby, who are in legal situations, and who Fifth Amendment rights have been severely and grossly violated.
Right.
We saw in Montgomery County. So this is a huge day for us. And she will not get to see any of this $500,000 because, as you know, once you file the appeal, that money is held up. She won't get to see a dime. So I would say to Ms. Huth, don't quit your day job as a tourist at the winery.
How is Bill Cosby doing? Because he, when he got out of, when he was released from the prison, he has some trouble seeing, right? And stuff like that. So physically, emotionally, how is he doing?
He's doing fantastic. Mr. Cosby is 100% blind to glaucoma. He went blind 10 years ago. He can't see you or me or anything. But he's doing fantastic. He's doing very well. We were talking. We're planning a big celebration for him because he called me up last week and said, Andrew, you and I, we have an anniversary together, just like my wife and I. So what are you talking about? I totally forgot. He said, it's coming up on the 1-year anniversary when the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court vacated my conviction. And that's going to be Thursday, June 30th. So we're putting together a 3-minute video piece that I'm working with a network on. And Bill Cosby will say some words, and people will finally get to hear him speak on this video piece that we're going to put out nationally and globally across the world. So he's doing very well, and he's so pleased and proud of his legal counsel, attorney Jennifer Bunjean, her associate Ashley Cohen, her paralegal Haley Kuba, and the local attorney here who pro-hawked him in, Michael Freeman. They did a yeoman's job. And what we saw in the courtroom, I don't know if you got to come through, we didn't see victims. The behavior that we saw from Lily Bernard and many of the alleged accusers, bringing their children to the courtroom to try to intimidate me. Lisa Lott Loveland, the accuser out of Vegas, her and her husband drive over. He challenges me to a fight and acts like he has a pocket knife that he wants to pull out of some sort. We don't succumb to violence. We have never done that. And the court is a place where you come when you file your grievances against someone and you try it in the court. And we understand the rules have changed because of this social media environment we are in, that you also have another court, the court of public opinion. And the Constitution gives us the right to freedom of speech. But during the press conference, I could not say one word because Gloria Allred, who claims to be a civil rights attorney, had accusers screaming profanity and, acting barbaric. And it was disappointing because they were doing that in front of their children and had their children acting that way. And what Gloria Allred has done is violated the victim card of sexual abuse, of true survivors, sexual abuse and molestation. And it was disappointing to see. It was disheartening. It became a minstrel show that was a disgrace to true victims of sexual assault. And I've always said this, I'm from Alabama, a civil rights state, and I represented King's organizations, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, for 10 years. And I always said that civil rights today is not for us because Gloria Allred's civil rights is to destroy successful Black men in America. That's why we have to fight for equal rights. And we have to say that we're a part of this Constitution as well. When she stood up in the courtroom on Juneteenth, the commemoration of Juneteenth, and said to the judge, I want to make a point on the record that today is Juneteenth, and it should be not just a federal holiday, but a state holiday. You will exploit Juneteenth while going after America's Black icon for millions of dollars. It was disappointing, but that's what we understand. This is not about justice for women. This is about racism and Miss Allred's obsession for Bill Cosby, and that she has not been able, think about it now, she paraded 60 plus women out against him, and his prison sentence was vacated. He never got COVID in prison. He didn't die. You get a stay removed off of a civil suit. You go through all of this for $500,000 that your client would never see. but her history of being a known racist and a liar was published for the world to see. We're victorious and we're happy today and we're pleased. And I just want to thank you for giving us the opportunity and time to tell our side of the story.
It was a great interview.
That was a great interview. Shout out to Andrew Wire.
The two standouts for me is this. This is allegedly if it's true that she owes Huth owes her law for $4 million. No law firm spends $4 million on a simple assault case. Civil assault. You just no way. With that, and that tells you that they were looking for $20 million settlement or higher. That's how badly they did. You put $4 million in there. The only way you're getting that money back, you got to make $16 million just to break even.
Right.
No, I'm sorry, my math is bad. Yeah, you make 12. You got to make $12 million to break even, and so that's the minimum they were looking for. So that's how badly they got beat. That's how badly they got beat. Secondly, it says to me that they were funding this woman's lifestyle. She obviously was dirt broke because that's the only way you put out $4 million in 8 years. They had to be giving her cash advances to live. And if you remember, they have all of these ladies going all over the country following Cosby in this case. I mean, people who take their cases seriously, they will follow their case, but then they got to follow you all over the country to win a case. That's not how cases work. She had these ladies. They were in Philadelphia. They were in California. They were in
New York,
Boston, New York,
Los Angeles, yeah, everywhere. And how are they getting? That's another thing. How are they flying out?
Exactly.
States. Who's playing all of this? Gloria Awful Red. Shawn, do you have one last comment you want to make on this topic?
No, I don't really have any more comments. I mean, Andrew pretty much said everything in that video you presented, so I can't add anything to it.
All right. But yeah, we're gonna keep monitoring this. But I thought Andrew Wire did a great interview, and let me give.
That was a great interview. It was really because
it was professional.
This $4 million
it was professionally done. Yeah.
And the woman didn't even believe it. By the way, the interviewer,
right.
she was not a Trump Cosby fan. But that's her Gen Z era.
Well, she was. I would say that she was professional. She wasn't like CNN.
NBC. I'll
so,
concede that point, but she was biased.
Yeah. Well, she let Andrew talk.
Yeah.
And that was a good thing. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead. I think Jennifer had a question. She wanted to know. Jennifer asks, could this affect the verdict? Doesn't it take 21 days to certify?
What's her question?
She wants to, I don't know what she means by could it affect the verdict, what exactly she was referring to, but she said, doesn't it take 21 days to verify the verdict?
I don't understand that question. I'm a New York attorney. I don't know the procedures in California, because in New York you would have 30 days to file a notice of appeal, which is what they say they're going to do. And the plaintiffs have to enter the judgment, and they have to do some calculations.
She's talking about the jurors speaking out, she says. Will that affect the verdict? No, because
he said the jury was released, which means that they were
released. Yeah.
Once they're free to talk.
Right. But I don't know if she means she might be talking about will it affect their appeal, what they're saying, what the Cosbys were saying in regards to, I don't know if she means the jurors saying that in the jury room they were talking about personal stuff rather than the evidence. I mean, that can all be, but that would favor Mr. Cosby if that all came out.
that would favor, but I think her point is that they should have stayed silent. But once they were released, they could say what they could talk. you know, they, you know, was, you know, he made that clear they were released. So,
Let-
my
right.
concern for him, talking about the jurors, was that it appeared to be that they were pro Cosby jurors all the way before they went in. That's how it sounded to me.
Yeah, and just like they were antagonist Cosby.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about this. Of course, I brought you in to discuss this as well. The settlements that happened with regards to Deshaun Watson, the Cleveland Browns quarterback, newly acquired Cleveland Browns quarterback. He signed one of the largest contracts in NFL history for a record guaranteed 5-year, $230 million contract. And he sat out the entirety of the 2021 season when these allegations started, maintaining his innocence. But now it's being reported that the NFL and NFLPA have negotiated a punishment for Deshaun Watson, and I believe that they said even that from the latest updates, these negotiations had fell through. But this is coming from WKYC Studios.
Looks like we finally got a movement in the Deshaun
I'm not
Watson
going to
case.
play a 33-minute
20
video.
out of the 24 cases have now been settled. What does this mean for Deshaun Watson, the Cleveland Browns, and the future of the quarterback? Will we see him in 2022? We talk about all of that coming up next on the Locked On Browns podcast.
You are locked
Well,
on.
I'm not going to play the whole thing.
Well,
but hold on.
What do the fans think of all of this Deshaun Watson news? That's what our Neil Fisher went to find out today around downtown Cleveland. He joins us live now. And Neil, what is the reaction on the streets today?
Hey, good afternoon, Betsy. It's the reaction on the streets is it's a moral dilemma. A lot of people on the fence right now about this. Watson didn't want to comment on camera for an interview about the Watson news. Some did and gave their opinion on whether or not he should play and if this is morally right.
Definitely a moral dilemma because you can look at it either way as it's not a conviction, so you can't hold him guilty, or you can look at it as just because he said doesn't mean it's not true.
I think he should play that. That's his career. I don't want anyone to lose their career if he was not found guilty.
Something Watson should be on the field this fall. Others think the NFL should try and establish more clarity before letting him play. One big question remains, and we won't know until Watson hits the field, is that if Watson wins, will the fans react and enjoy him winning? The question about that is will winning to diminish these accusations?
Yeah, and so much focus is, of course, on the victims. And this case has stirred up a lot of emotion for victims of sexual assault. You reached out to the Rape Crisis Center today. Did they have anything to say about the news of these settlements?
They're aware of the recent news that was announced today, but they didn't have a comment at this time. They said if they make a comment, they will make us aware. So we'll be sure to have that on air and online at WKYC.com.
All right. Thanks so much, Nick.
Now, you notice they called them sexual assault victims, and I'm not here. I don't know what happened in it, just like everybody else. However, just as an attorney, I would caution and say these are alleged victims. Deshaun Watson has not been criminally charged on these things. He actually had 2 grand juries who declined that there be any charges against him. The prosecutors try to say, well, it's not an exoneration. Well, it may not be an exoneration, but as you know, and the prosecutor knows, your presumption of innocence stands as a rock until proven otherwise in court. So you have here, and here's the thing: no one has actually stated exactly what Deshaun Watson did. I don't know exactly what I've seen. A few of what supposedly he was accused of, where he allegedly jerked off in a woman's face, and you have to ask, well, how far was his? You got to beg the question. 2 things: either, ma'am, how far was your face from his penis, or 2, how long is it? Because if it were further away, if you're saying 3-4 feet away, and he jerked off and it hit you, I don't know. It just at this point, it just it's
Well,
it's,
Gavin,
it's
Gavin, you already ended the point. The point is very clear. The grand jury failed to charge him. Therefore, he's an innocent man.
right.
Period.
And I want you to explain settlements. I know what settlements are as doing civil work myself, but when you settle a civil case, that is not a indication of guilt. Am I correct, Andrew?
100%, 100%. That's the language that's in every settlement, that you are not admitting guilt. That is in every settlement, and in this case, I think it was about 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. They the plaintiff's lawyer is a very prominent attorney in Texas, and apparently they were settling at 200,000 per victim for the ladies at $200,000, which is $2 million. Basically, chump change for a quarterback who's making what, 15-20 million dollars a season. But the plaintiff's lawyer wanted a very detailed non-disclosure agreement, and the article indicated, we don't know how true it is, so I'm just going by public information. Did not want to know how low he settled for, so that's why he wanted this elaborate non-disclosure. The Watson team didn't want to do that because they wanted to be able to say, that they basically just paid this low amount to get rid of it. And I don't know what changed it 2 weeks later. And those negotiations fell apart over the non-disclosure. And now 2 weeks later, it seems to me the same numbers must have been accepted. And so I don't know what changed the tenure of the negotiation that allowed the settlement to go forward. But as to the settlement, there's probably going to be a non-disclosure agreement, so we're not going to know what's in it. And but admission of guilt is you deny admission of guilt, right? That's the number one thing. And the ladies have to make some other admissions that and accept it, that he's not admitting guilt, and a number of other things. It depends on how elaborate they want to get this. And in his case, they will want some level of elaboration so that he could go back to the NFL and say, "Listen, this is what they signed. Then I'm not admitting guilt. They're not saying they're confessing that I did anything. I just paid them to move on with my life and be able to enjoy my career."
All right. Shawn, well, let me ask you this, and I'm going to take this to Shawn. You see that the NFL likely will punish Deshaun Watson. Is this an example of putting someone in their place? Do you think it's fair that he should? I know you don't follow football per se, but do you think it's fair that he should miss the season for 2022, or even some games when he sat out in 2021 and he hasn't been charged or convicted? And the NFL does have their personal conduct policy. There is no such thing as presumption of innocence with it, just for clarity. But do you think, what are your thoughts on it? I'm going to ask you whether you think it's fair or not. I would want to know what your thoughts are.
Well, I don't think it's fair that Deshaun is forced to stay out of any games because he hasn't been proven of committing any crime, and they really haven't really proven that he's violated any NFL policy as I see it. I mean, when I look at the whole Deshaun Watson situation, I see a guy who was basically railroaded based on false, as I see it, allegations, because the prosecutor's office has proven that there is no case here. And he's just looking like he's just trying to settle things so he can get on with his life. And I think what the NFL, if they were to punish him, it would just be egregious because Deshaun Watson has been proven not to have really done anything at all. And it looks like what I see it when I look at these allegations that these women have made, it's mostly a cash grab to hope to try to get some fast money out of him. And this should really, it's just an attempt to try to malign his reputation on false and trumped up charges. I mean, when I look at Deshaun Watson, I see a guy who's been railroaded by the criminal justice, attempted to be railroaded by the criminal justice system. and the NFL and these women, they're showing us all by their actions. They're just looking for a fast payday at Deshaun Watson's expense, and he should be allowed to get back to the NFL and play the game that he has been trying to play for the last 2 years.
I want to add something to it. That's what happened with the Cosby case. One of the reasons why, in the end, Allred's case was so weak. Her MO is to shake down people for the allegations. And now everything's crystal clear with her case. She's a shakedown artist.
You're talking about Gloria Allred.
Yeah, Gloria, because really, there's nothing to her case. 99% of attorneys would never take her case, and it's surprising that she got away with it. But when you have prominent people, as you can see with Watson, he would have been better off paying these ladies a quick $50,000 early on and get rid of this, rather than have all of this come out. You look at the guy. The guy is like this humble dude. He doesn't come across as anybody who would do something like that. We don't know what people are like behind closed doors, but that's how he comes off.
Mm-hmm. And
and so you want to protect that image.
Yeah, and then when you got the New York Times putting out that the Houston Texans enabled this, he had 66 masseuse therapists that visited him in his hotel room within a 17-month time frame. That is not okay. What's the law against that?
There is no law.
Exactly. There is absolutely no law. 66 different women in just the 17 months from the fall of 2019 through spring of 2021. That's not a crime.
Can I ask you guys something?
Yeah.
This man is a finely tuned athlete. He might take his body very seriously in ways that we don't respect as, I'm flubber-dubber right now. But a guy at his level would take his body very seriously to keep it fine-tuned. And if you may not be the right person, he's still there looking. And there are people who are very, very meticulous about a lot of things, and they will go through a great lengths to get that perfect touch for a particular area. If you know what I mean?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean, and that's not a criminal act.
It's not even unusual. Quincy Jones always comes on interviews and say when they were doing the Billie Jean song, they did 78 cuts of the bass intro just to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
And the bassist is one of the best in the business. Louis Johnson, one of my personal favorites, and I don't can't even.
Bad dude.
Yeah, Louis Johnson. Yeah, bad dude. Absolutely.
Larry Graham and Jameson. Yeah, a bunch of people. Yeah, Louis.
Yeah.
Brothers Johnson. Yeah.
Brothers Johnson. Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't think a guy like him would take 78 tries to get something like that right, but when you at that level of perfection, little nuances to you is a big deal. For others, it's not. And so this man's a finely tuned athlete. He has to get his body right, and he may just go through a lot of masseuses just to be there, that just right spot.
Right.
I just we don't know. But it does seem weird that from these masseuses they're all coming forward with these. We don't even know what they are, as you just said.
Yeah, we don't know what they are. We got a blow dry going on.
Who, me?
I was just hearing that loud vacuum. It sounded like a vacuum or something.
It might be that MacBook fan.
Oh, that's Shawn. All right. Yeah, well, I just to clarify with everything, so it's likely he's going to be suspended. Remember what they did with Ben Roethlisberger. The NFL suspended Roethlisberger back in 2000, I believe it was 2007, for about 6 games, because he was actually accused of sexual assault. He's actually accused of rape.
Yeah.
Had about 3 rape charges.
Yeah, what happened to his criminal case?
He was never convicted, and I think he may have. I don't know for sure. I can't say, but I believe there may have been a settlement with some of those. But I mean, again, he is innocent until proven guilty. But he was actually, when that happened, I remembered it, and I don't recall.
I remember the suspension,
people.
And then the criminal case sort of like disappeared.
Right. Well, I mean, look, they re-signed him to a multi-million-dollar deal. Like, it worked $100 million like the next season.
Yeah. I mean, he's gotten a long career when I thought his career was over about 8 years ago.
So what it says with Roethlisberger, an affidavit filed as part of a motion by 2 of the other defendants naming the suit to relocate the case from Washoe County to Douglas County. This is in Georgia. In the affidavit, Angela Antoinetti, McNulty's former co-worker, delivered a sworn statement that McNulty had bragged to her about having consensual sex with Roethlisberger. As part of the affidavit, Antoinetti said she was absolutely shocked upon hearing of the case on the radio on July 21st. She said, "I know that her lawsuit and false allegations would unfairly and unjustly hurt Mr. Roethlisberger." According to the affidavit, Miss Defendant Antoinetti claimed that McNulty had revealed she was hoping she had gotten pregnant with a little Roethlisberger. So there was a suit. She brought a suit in damages against Roethlisberger. She wanted to sue him for $440,000 and an additional $50,000 from Harris's Lake Tahoe offices. So the parties reached a settlement. Then he got sued, and so this had one happen in Lake Tahoe. He had another one that happened in Georgia, and that one was rape, allegedly.
And yeah, that was it was very serious allegation.
Right.
All right, I'll be back in a moment.
I'm sorry.
They've so expanded the concept of rape that you don't even know what rape is anymore.
Well, Judge Joe Brown has said this before. There's a new trend around the country where they want rape to be not just if a man forces himself on a woman, but they also want it to be if the woman regrets it, has consensual sex, and then regret it. They want that now They want that now called rape. So,
yeah, you can see how the feminists, and these are not even feminists; these are men-hating women who are disappointed in their life for whatever reason, that something to do with men, have pushed such bad laws, and you have so many weak men who will not stand up and say, "Hey, you can't do that."
Mm-hmm.
You know, you see them on TV all the time. I mean, they just melt when these ladies can come up with these extraordinary allegations against all men.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't have too much more to say on the Deshaun Watson. Shawn, I don't know if you want to make a last comment on it, but
no, I don't have much to say on Deshaun Watson. I just wish for the best for him. I mean, I know the NFL is trying to railroad him, and they're trying to give him a hard time over charges that really are unsubstantiated. And what they want to do is try to make him look like the bad guy in the situation. And what's sad about all this is that this is all because he had the so-called audacity to ask these NFL slave owners for a trade. And all they had to do was just give him a trade and let him go on to the next team. But instead of letting him go to the next team, they wanted to try to make an example out of him. And they created this whole debacle around his whole and ruined his career. So I just look at this whole situation as it just shows us how racist the NFL is and how they basically show how little respect they have for a black man for basically wanting to use the same power that any other white NFL player would want to use And that's the thing that disgusts me about the whole Deshaun Watson situation. They wanted to turn him into a black brute just because he wanted to ask for his rights that any other black man is supposed to have. And that's the thing that disgusts me about this whole situation overall.
Sure. But by the way, just so everyone knows, they signed confidentiality agreements, so they have not disclosed how much money they had. I heard that he had actually offered, according to some reports I had seen, it was somewhere he had offered uh, Tony Busby, who's the opposing attorney who represents these women. And I hear he had something also to do. It was a friend of that family that owns the Texans, by the way. Uh, Allegedly, he tried to offer $100,000 to each woman, and not all of the women agreed because, as you pointed out, Andrew, that aggressive non-disclosure agreement. But here's the thing, brothers. Nowadays, if you've gone out with women, whoever you are, if you're a heterosexual male, what you can learn from Bill Cosby and Deshaun Watson is that you need to have cameras around you. You need to have bodies around you. And you got to make sure you don't mess, especially on IG, with some of these Instagram models, these dusty models who are looking to get a lick. When you're a young brother, especially you're handsome, you have money, you have talent, you're going to attract women.
Yeah.
Right. That's the way it is. And Deshaun Watson fits that example. Bill Cosby fits that example. That's why he didn't need no quaalude to drug a woman. All he had to do was just walk in and they would latch on to him. Just like
Bill Cosby story is a little bit different because it's a lot different because 1975, a country is a lot looser sexually.
It is. But the point being,
Bill Cosby behavior was very common for movie stars and rock stars. They all live like this.
But the point, Andrew, I hear you. But the point I'm making, Andrew, is that when you're a celebrity and got money, girls even back then, it wasn't uncommon for men to have girlfriends even if they were married, like Frank Sinatra or
all of them.
But the point I'm making is that when you're a celeb, what I'm saying is Bill Cosby didn't need no quaalude to rape anybody.
He didn't. He didn't.
And same thing with Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke didn't have to force himself on a prostitute to rape her.
Hey, Sam Cooke, my mother loved that man, and she had a handsome man, my father. So that's how good looking he was.
Yeah.
He could sing the pants off of anybody.
Oh yeah, he was not only a great singer, but he was also an astute businessman too, which is why a lot of people think he was murdered over this. But brothers,
I grew up with the belief that he was murdered. That's how everybody talked about his death. It was what a big loss.
It was a big loss, and he was giving his money to a lot of black civil rights organizations, which is another reason why they think that had something to do with it.
Well, all the black artists, many of the black artists back in the day, celebrities gave money to the cause. It was one of the rare times we were unified as
but he was close friends with Malcolm X and Dr. King. Like he was actually funding them.
Malcolm X in his book talks about Sam Cooke. He heavily talked about it in the book.
Yeah.
About
now that would have made J. Edgar Hoover's eyes go up. So don't make yourself a mark is the point. Exactly, Knight Rider. I want to talk about our last topic before we get out of here. President Biden pleads for a national gas tax holiday. CNN even clowned the president. So what happened is that I don't know what's happened with his second wife, Barbara, but she sold his catalog for like $100,000 to his manager, Alan Klein, and Sam Cooke's catalog is priceless. And she should have never sold it, but that's what they did. But this tax holiday for gas that President Biden had talked about, he's pleading now so that we can lower taxes. A CNN panel even clowned the president. According to this article from the New York Post, CNN panelists took aim at President Biden on Thursday after his push for a national gas tax holiday to address record high prices seemed to underwhelm top lawmakers within his own party. CNN anchor John King began the discussion by noting that several top Democrats had panned and dismissed the idea, including Nancy Pelosi, who's the House Speaker, House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, from Maryland, and ally Chris Coons out of Delaware. Can you help me here? That a Democratic president, his party's in trouble. He's in trouble in an election year. He had a major policy announcement, and his own party dumps on it within seconds. Pelosi did not endorse Biden's proposals, instead saying we will see where the consensus lies on a path forward for the gas tax holiday. Both Hoyer and Coons questioned whether the proposal could secure enough votes in Congress. As most people know, gas prices have been climbing at an alarming rate, an all-time high. At a minimum, just last month, gas prices reached $4 across every state in the United States of America. King says this is the number one issue for Americans. Inflation, gas prices are a big piece of that. Is it not embarrassing to the President of the United States for his party right out of the box to say go away? A 3-month pause in the gas tax. So I'll let you, Shawn, go ahead. What do you think of the gas tax with Biden's proposal?
Well, this is another desperate Hail Mary from the Biden presidency, and it's not going to work because the prices are basically through the roof due to Biden's own policy. Had he not gone out here and tried to spite Donald Trump by ending the Keystone Pipeline and stopping drilling on American soil, gas prices wouldn't be at these astronomical levels. So what your Joe Biden is trying to do right now is a desperate Hail Mary to try to save his presidency. But everybody sees how desperate a ploy it is, and they see how bad a ploy it is, because cutting this gas tax really isn't going to affect the price of gas, which is up because we don't have the supply to meet the demand. And we don't have the supply to meet the demand because, one, we closed a lot of refineries. Two, we had Joe Biden again end the Keystone Pipeline. And three, we had him go out here and stop drilling on American soil. And he's tried every ploy to try to get oil production back going, from even going to our enemies like Venezuela and Saudi Arabia. And it's still, he can't seem to get any oil. But the whole problem is everything is due to his policies, and his policies are the main reason why the U.S. economy is messed up right now. Had he not canceled the Keystone Pipeline, that wouldn't have driven up the price of oil futures, and it wouldn't have led to the inflation we're having right now. So everything is directly connected to his policies, and this policy right here would actually exacerbate the situation, and it's not a good situation for Joker Joe. Joker Joe has pretty much put a nail in his own coffin, and these desperate Hail Marys, they're not working because they're landing as incomplete passes, and this one is a major fumble because it's gotten where he couldn't even snap the ball. And now he's stuck in a place where he's practically fumbling and bumbling, looking for something to work. But the problem is that if he just hit a Control-Z with the Keystone Pipeline, he might have been able to fix something. But he keeps trying to do these desperate ploys instead of going out there and looking to fix what needs to be fixed, because it was him that broke the U.S. economy, and it was him that also possibly broke the global economy, because he didn't understand that this pipeline was not just impacting America, it was impacting oil all over the world.
Yeah. Andrew, you have a statement on this?
I actually disagree with my colleague Shawn. The Keystone Pipeline is not for America. It's a Canadian oil that's being sent to your hometown, Gavin, New Orleans, to be sent to the world market.
But that impacted the whole oil futures, and that he derailed entire oil futures all over the world.
No, the Keystone Pipeline, that's the oil that's never been on the market.
It's not on the market, but it was on its way to the market, and he broke the market.
No, No. It would. What has caused the prices to go up is this war in Ukraine
No,
and the
it's not
sanctions that
the oil was going up before Ukraine.
not like what happened since February 24th. It's February 24th that is the heart of the problem. I mean, there are policies that he's done that has caused various problems, and I don't think this 3 month gas hiatus, which was just a ploy to cut the gas price until the elections was over, and then it'll go right back up. That was the brazen ploy that it was,
Yeah,
and
but
everybody's calling them out on it, even the Democrats. I can understand that. But
yeah, but Andrew, he hasn't even used the oil reserves that were in Hawaii. He's gone to foreign countries asking for help with this.
yeah, listen, the oil market right now is a mess. But you can't say that it's up only for Keystone and ignore what is happening with the war and that the Europeans now are short oil, and the United States is sending them oil to help them
The
out.
Europeans are short oil because Joe Biden told them not to buy any from Russia.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said
But it was
the oil the war that is the big source of it. But be that as it may, he has had a hodgepodge of policies that have not gone through, and this 3 month hiatus was a political ploy to get through the election. And that you have to call it for what it is. You know, and the gas prices are hurting everybody right now. So he's got to do something.
well, the best thing actually it could be done by the American people is I would say this is what we did during COVID, and that's not going to work. Don't drive. Don't go nowhere. That's going to send a message.
Yeah,
If you're not a if it's your work is not a necessity, you can avoid going to certain places. If it's not important, don't go.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
And,
a
and
message.
the other thing about oil prices, I may be a contrarian on this. In 1980, United States broke $1 a gallon for oil, and I remember that people couldn't believe that gas could hit $1. And so at $5, adjusted for inflation, we're probably about right where it should be all along. But people have been used to sub $3 gas for the longest. So uh, $5 is where it is right now. It's hurtful. I mean, I filled up to yesterday. It was $80.
More than that. It's more than that in some places. It's actually $6 in some places. I know in California, I've heard that it's even gone as up as double digits.
Yeah, I heard $10 there too myself. Uh, you know, I it's high. You know, and America has built its economy on cars. That's what makes it so rough.
Right. You had a senator who allegedly had said, you should just buy electric. Electric cars are $100,000. It's the price of a house.
And we have no infrastructure to charge them.
No infrastructure. You would have to build it, have a port in your house to do that. You have to travel, like for instance, for a Tesla car. I would have if I live in New Orleans East, right? So if I had to charge a car, if I bought a Tesla, I would have to drive all the way to Slidell, Louisiana, which is about 25-30 minutes just to charge it.
Really?
Yeah. Or I could go. Or I apologize. You know what? It could be even about a little less than that, maybe about, well, really less than about around 20 minutes. The other place is out in Metairie, Louisiana. At either rate, it's not in an immediate area. Would I want to drive 20 minutes just to go pump gas, realistically? No. You go where you're closest to. That's where it can
I think it takes an hour to charge a car.
Right.
I'm a fan of the electric cars. I think we have to look at it, but I don't think it's the end all to be all, because there are issues about the electric car that we're not addressing yet. What do you do with the spent batteries whenever they're finished? That's going to be a landfill problem at some point. I don't know how well they get to recycle. Then you have the electrical generation. Is our infrastructure ready to generate that level of electricity for tens of millions of cars? I don't think so.
Yeah.
And how do we?
The brother who died in, I just want to say this right quick, Tim. The brother who died in that Buffalo shooting, he actually developed a way, I know I've heard it before him, where cars would run on water.
I've heard that a number of times from a number of people. I didn't hear that. There was a black guy or the white shooter?
The black guy, the black cop that got killed trying to kill him, trying to defend him.
Yeah. That really, he was at inventor on the side.
I think so. Yeah, they showed a video of him actually using hydro fuel to try and develop a car. Now, back in the 80s, there was a white guy who even tried to do it. I can't think of his name, but he died. I think when he was on the verge of doing that. They say he died under mysterious circumstances, how he died or whatever. But but this brother was trying to do that too. That could kill. I mean, you think about it too. By now, we were thinking in 2020 we would have flying cars, and they've made prototypes for that, but it hasn't put on the market yet. Just like self-driving cars, the technology is there, but it hasn't been put to motion yet because, of course, laws are going to have to be changed once they start doing self-driving cars. Who's going to be liable? Yeah.
Yep. And the transition between gas and electric, as you can see here, is going to cause a lot of accidents, because you're going to have self-driving cars with self-driving cars. You're going to have a lot of accidents during that transition, because it takes 10 years or so to get a fleet in a country, especially a fleet of a country of our size, to be totally changed over. So that transition is going to really cause a lot of accidents.
Right.
So that, the gas hiatus was not a good idea, because it was a political stunt to get us through the election and not really solve the problem.
Joker Joe is desperate.
He's desperate.
Hell yeah. There ain't no question about that. Let's so I'm getting ready, gentlemen, to wrap this one up. I enjoyed, Andrew, you coming on, giving your sound legal advice. Although I should say it doesn't constitute an attorney-client relationship. That's me and Andrew, just for the record.
Just for the record.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I always got to do that disclaimer. Like the lead attorney says, I'm not your attorney, but I'm the lead attorney. So, yeah. They need to, Nisi said they need to look into the relationship of the attorney and the previous owner who passed away. You're talking about Bob McNair, and the attorney is Tony Busby, who represents those women. He's a big wig lawyer out in Houston, Andrew. Deshaun Watson's lawyer, Rusty Harden, is also a big deal as well.
Yeah, I heard of him. He was in a number of big cases.
Anna Nicole Smith.
And he did another big athlete, a white athlete, if I remember right.
You have to name it.
I can't remember that. That's what I heard about it when he did this big athlete. So it was somebody for the Cowboys at the time.
He represented Tyler Skaggs. He also represented Michael Bennett. Rudy Tomjanovich is another one. Warren Moon, Scottie Pippen. He's represented a lot of people. Roger Clemens. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, Roger Clemens. When he had that the steroid problem.
He also represented Victoria Osteen, who's Joel Osteen's wife, when a civil suit was filed by a Continental Airlines flight attendant, where she claimed she was pushed by Osteen's wife and sought civil damages, but the Houston Texans jury acquitted her.
Of course they would have.
Yeah. So yeah, J. Howard Marshall was, let's see. Yeah, that was Anna Nicole Smith's husband.
Right.
And
Who he died of old age and she was like 30.
he was a billionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, she married for love. I remember Anna Nicole Smith was titties just as a kid.
That's all she was.
But yeah, she had that reality show. She died tragically, unfortunately, and her son died. But yeah, I remember her. She was in the Naked Gun movie, The Last Naked Gun.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, we missed nothing. That was no, that's classic. The Naked Gun movies are classics.
Yeah, I think her son died before she died.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I think that was a sad story. I feel bad for her.
Right. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Andrew. I don't know if you want to shout out. Do you have a website anybody can follow you, or?
I got to set up those things, Instagram and all that stuff.
Okay. Well, Shawn, in the meantime, Shawn, of course, the author of books such as Stop Simping in Cyberspace and The Man Crisis. He also has The Woman Crisis that's coming out. Shawn has his Kickstarter for the John Haynes series. Shawn, you want to do a plug-in?
Yes. You guys can pledge the John Haynes Kickstarter by clicking the link in the post in the chat.
Something's wrong with your mic, Shawn.
Well, let me see what's going on with this microphone.
I can hear you now.
I think you covered it up.
All right, let me see. All right. So the John Haynes Kickstarter is available right now, and we are 50% funded. And I want to try to get the other 50% funded by sooner rather than later. So I'm asking everybody to please head over to the Kickstarter and please put in a pledge, because I want to get this project funded. All of the art is complete. All the lettering is complete. I've created the PDF files, and all I need is the funds to get these comics printed and shipped, and I'll be able to do that with your help. So I'm asking everybody to head over to the Kickstarter by clicking the link that I'm going to post in the chat, and that will definitely help me be able to get this project funded. I can only do this with your help, and I'm asking everybody to help out. And if you can just donate $5 for a digital copy, that will help a long way.
Most definitely. If you all want to support me, of course, I've told you about our Creole seasoning blend, Nani's. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nani's goes great with every dish. You can get that right now at naniscreoleblends.com, naniscreoleblends.com. Andrew, you ought to look at ordering some seasoning for 4th of July. If you want updates on our Facebook on Bill Cosby, we still go to the @CommonwealthCos page. I still post things there, post articles there. I'll post that shortly. Of course, you can purchase the book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby, on Amazon right now, Amazon Kindle. Go ahead and do that. Get your
book. Can you get a hard copy of your book?
I will be. They'll be available for hard copies soon.
Yeah, I don't have a Kindle. That's why I haven't ordered it yet.
Okay. Well, I'll have one. I'll make one hard copy soon for it. But I need everybody that has Kindle, if you have the Kindle app on your phone and so forth, to please purchase it and support the brother, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it can be done through the Kindle app.
Yeah, you can do it purchase it through the Kindle app.
Okay.
What's up, Butterfly 70? We got the link for the Kickstarter there. Of course, we have our songs Got to Get On Up and We Are and Video Soul, which are available on Amazon, Spotify, and Apple, respectively. I like if you could purchase it on Apple, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back Sunday for another live stream. Gentlemen, I thank you very much for an awesome evening tonight. Great discussion about everything. and we'll continue to monitor these stories and more. So, Shawn, I appreciate it. Andrew, I appreciate it as well.
All right, thank you.
Gavin, you're doing a good job with this program.
I appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
All right. That was Andrew Jones, attorney at law, and that was Shawn James, author of The Man Crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and get on. Let's get on up and get out of here. I'm Gavin Reshaw. Ladies and gentlemen, have an awesome night, a great weekend. Let's get on up.
Good night.
Good night.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat. Cause on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on Earth, Wind, and Fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop, I'll do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up. Baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
You just need to shut the hell up, basically, Gloria Allred. Your ass, I just tired of seeing your ass talk about the greatest entertainer of all time. Your ass is just terrible. Terrible, terrible, Gloria Allred. Shut your ass up all the way. I'm talking about Dr. Cosby. You know, you worse than street clothes defense against the Golden State Warriors in West Conference Finals.
That was just terrible on Anthony Davis and himself. You know, that was worse. I felt bad when Damian Lillard dropped that 3 to win the game against Miami Dolphins. Damian Lillard, he great. Scottie Pippen, not so much, Ernie. I'm gonna get me a hot dog. Let's just go. Yeah, that's correct. Bob McNair and the Texas owner were the best of friends. Thank you, Nisa. Thank you for dropping in the chat. Good night, everybody. Everybody that loved Gavin Richard, he just a great old knucklehead, a smart knucklehead at that.